I've followed Ready or Not since the very beginning. I watched all the trailers back in the day, and I played through every iteration of it throughout the pre-release testing. It's one of the few indie success stories, Unreal Engine indie no less. So many developers set out to create these spiritual successors to long dead but beloved games, but often end up falling flat or just never coming out at all. Although I don't know if you can really call Ready or Not indie anymore. It's more of a AA game, and they got a publisher. But then again, can you call anything indie anymore these days? Unless you know it's like a single guy who posts all their development updates on Twitter. Ready or Not is a SWAT 4 spiritual successor. Although many argue that they've strayed away from that vision, and that SWAT 4 still remains unbeaten, I mean, there's some truth to that, I can agree. Like, I still can't give orders through the helmet cam, and there's no sniper team like in SWAT 4. Maybe that's for the best, because every time I used it, I would always get dinged points for unlawful use of force. So I'm gonna go through Ready or Not, and see how the most recent DLC, Boiling Point, has been a very pleasant surprise and hopefully a sign of further improvements to come. Because I adore Ready or Not, but as someone who's followed it from the get-go, I've been waiting a while for stuff that still hasn't been added yet, but slowly seems to be making its way back into the game. The main thing being, in these pre-release trailers, there's explicit mentions of a single-player story campaign. Like, watching these made me think there's going to be actually like a story and cinematics as opposed to just going mission to mission like we end up doing in the main game.
You're given the difficult task of bringing some semblance of order to a city divided by crime across a single-player story. You're placed in the boots of an officer in the city's SWAT, a unit equipped with military hardware, tasked with protection, taking on high-risk situations, and bringing order to chaos. In Ready or Not, you will encounter a wide array of unique characters, all with their own stories that contribute to the narrative thread, from kingpin drug dealers, to beat cops, to school children.
There's no such thing. There's no real named characters that you talk to or interact with or have any sort of like story arc or anything. Even the launch trailer into 1.0 makes it seem like you'll actually have like dialogue moments and cutscenes with these characters.
So, are you ready?
But unfortunately, these trailers seem to be where all the actual storytelling ends up being as opposed to in the game itself. And then gameplay-wise, I'm sad that I never got the side rack reload working on the shotguns, but I imagine that's pretty hard to code and get working properly. You can't kill the lights, that sucks. It would be great because there's really no reason to run NVGs outside of just the drip factor, because the AI can see you perfectly at night and in the dark anyway. You had scroll wheel movement like Tarkov and like an aiming dead zone like Insurgency or Red Orchestra. And then it was going to be like 8-player co-op as opposed to, I guess, 5, which would make more sense for these late game levels like the hospital or the nightclub shooting. But maybe they got rid of it because handling 7 other SWAT AI sounds like a pain in the ass. Like, you think they get in your way now. Imagine 3 more of them you have to deal with.
Breathing.
Get down!
Opening on the left.
Are we for real? And they used to have a PvP mode they were testing, and I don't know if they ever plan on bringing this back. Probably wouldn't be a very good idea. It was hilariously broken and like super poorly thought out. You just use pepper spray to win. That's all you do. It's just run and spray people with pepper spray. The announcer sounds like the guy from Rogue Warrior. He's cracking jokes over the comms trying to act cool. People thought it was hopeless at this point, like the development. It's like, why are we bothering making a PvP mode? This is a co-op game. And then we got some radio songs, but then the beta came out, and the beta was basically how the game is now in terms of gameplay. It was super reassuring. It's like, oh my god, it's fun now, and it's like reasonably polished. It's like, oh, thank god. And you had different situations you could choose per map. You could have like barricaded suspects versus raid versus active shooter or like all these other things. And it was cool. They removed it in the full release. I don't know why, because it added like variation to these maps. You could play the same map in different ways based on what was going on, what situation you had. So the game finally comes out. After 6 years in development, hopefully it will have been worth the wait. Well, all we get in terms of a campaign mode is having to babysit your officers feeling bad about shooting people, which is why I forego commander mode entirely and just do quick play with my boy Eli.
Hey kid, come on, you get to wear handcuffs. That's pretty cool.
But I mean, I loaded in, you got the whole police station to walk around. It's like, okay, in the launch trailer you sit down with a therapist. Thought there'd be like dialogue, you go around and talk to people in the precinct, learn more about the world and the characters, like what the trailers made it seem like. No, actually they just sit there and look at you and maybe say like an offhand line every now and again. You don't know anybody's name. I don't know who anybody's name is. There's like recognizable faces, like you got the police chief, the therapist, the detectives, but I don't know their names. It's just like, oh, the update happened and now Black Lady stands over here now. Even Destiny's Tower, people walking around. All the therapist does is give these little platitudes he tells you at the end of the mission at the debrief showing the officer's mental states. When I played through the game for the first time on Commander mode, when it like finally hit 1.0, I just got disappointed the more and more I got through the game because nothing was happening in the police station. But the biggest letdown was when they removed the speed boost buff from the coffee machine that they had in the beta. But the music's great. I love the music in this game. Music's been a highlight ever since like the first trailer. The visuals are great. Like, it doesn't look like your stock Unreal Engine 5 game, thank God. But I wish the footsteps were heavier. Like the gear foley that you have in Tarkov, like all your stuff kind of like rustling around as you move, like it needs to be like that. The gunshots are bloody fantastic though. The animations and the visual effects in these gunfights are legit like AAA level up there with like Modern Warfare 2019. Whoever made this, like whoever made these animations and like put all this together and made it feel so good, they should be proud. Because like an indie team doing this, it's great. Like, very well done. However, what isn't well done are the tonal issues that I think this game suffers from. And there's quite a bit of this. I don't know if Void has become a ship of Theseus since the original trailers, but things seem different back in those original trailers than it does now. Maybe that's just me, I don't know, but the people behind these initial trailers, I don't see them as being the same type of people to go like, guys, we made a body pillow for you to buy, isn't that so funny? Nor do I see them agreeing to censor their game for the sake of a wider audience. Although I will give them funny points for putting Armenian Corey in the Taco Bell map. But like, the human traffickers in the pre-release, like in the beta, used to be Brazilian. What did Void mean by this? But part of the problem I have with the base game is just how run down everything is. Like, it's to an exaggerated degree. Like, the talent agency is hilariously filthy. Like, am I playing Crysis 3? Like, what is this?
Imagine seeing this and being like, oh yeah, I think I'll go in there.
And I feel like a lot of it gets hand-waved away as being like, oh, the city's underfunded and there's a sanitation workers strike. It's like, so it turns into The Last of Us? What are you talking about? The game is just really ham-fisted in a lot of its environmental storytelling. It has a very serious subtlety problem. It cannot be subtle to save its life, which is really a shame, because one of the most celebrated aspects of SWAT 4 was how effective and natural the environmental storytelling is. Freaking Face Full of Eyes has an entire, like, hour-and-a-half long video about it. The brutality of the world is just so forced a lot of the time. There's like no tact to it, and it just feels like it's being done for the sake of being edgy. It's like freaking Amateur Hour, the Talent Time agency. You've got wall scribblings being like, think of the money. You better make sure you smile. And they got this big star on the wall with the creepy smile and like the bleeding eyes. It's like, are we serious right now? Is this a joke? And then, like, the emails, they have, like, an email between the guy running it and, like, the Jeffrey Epstein stand-in, and it's, like, painfully obvious what's being discussed. I'd probably like it better if it just had big impact font on the screen saying, I love kids, Charlie! I love kids! And then in the Epstein estate, you have all those bodyguards walking around just spouting off nonsense to themselves, like, money or the right thing. As if, like, did you know there's, like, a mental dilemma going on, guys? Did you know that? And then you get down to the basement, and there's wall scribblings all over the place. It's like, this guy's evil! Can you tell? Did you know that? Did you know this guy's evil and crazy?
What? The police?
Put your hands up! Hands on your head!
No way.
Like, for God's sakes, the pictures and, like, the shrill background music convey it just fine. Like, wall scribblings are such an amateurish way of conveying stuff to the audience. Like, if you think they're stupid. I'm surprised they didn't make the school shooting level. I'm surprised they didn't have, like, blood writing on the wall like it's Call of Duty Zombies being like, this is a sad scene, did you know that? School shootings are bad. And on that same line of thinking, the evidence room. Like, I love the evidence room. I think it's pretty good for the most part, but the evidence for the school shooting mission, it just feels very performative. Like, imagine you just lost a loved one in a tragedy like this. Would you take the time to write, like, fuck it, like, write that, like, 50 times over and over again? It's like, just writing it once would be enough, and then just have a resignation letter taped next to it. And the mission order is, like, non-chronological for some reason, and just really poorly set up. Like, why are we wasting the streamer swatting mission, like, immediately at the beginning? It's the second mission. Why are we wasting it here? You can immediately tell what it's supposed to be. Whereas if you mod it to where like all the missions are happening chronologically, it happens like towards the end of the game after you've done like the friggin' nightclub shooting and the hospital mission and all these like really hard missions. You see it and you're like, oh god, what's next? I wonder what it could be. And why are there armed guards all over the place? It ruins the surprise. The whole point of a swatting is that you go in thinking, oh god, okay, this guy's heavily armed, and then you show up and yeah, there are heavily armed guys. Like, why? Why are we meeting more armed resistance, like raiding some Discord mod Twitch streamer than we do in the Ruby Ridge Waco analog?
What if the old codger's right?
And then the mission where you raid the server farm is weird too. Again, it's super run down to the point. It's like, when does stuff get condemned in this city? And there's these weird mall ninja looking private security guys working there. And their moral dilemma, like, oh, you gotta feel bad for them angle, is that they're paranoid because people are impersonating police officers and showing up recently, so they're really jumpy and on edge. Like, what do you, huh? There's like 3 to 4 different levels of suspension of disbelief with this, when in media you realistically only get like 1 or 2. Why not have it be like the Epstein security team going in to wipe the evidence, or just make it like a bunch of crackheads going to loot the place and it's like already condemned, but then have like a tape recorder fall out and it's like, it's me, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, black guy, you want to get your crack money? You better go find me my kid pictures. And on top of the suspension of disbelief, it's an alternate timeline, like it's alternate universe, and I can't tell if I like it or not. It's like cool speculation, like America's on like its 52nd president or something, but then they change the name of various agencies and it just makes it feel too disconnected from reality. Although I don't know how much of this was like a legal requirement, because I remember they used to have it say FBI, but now it changed. It's like, okay, now the FBI is FISA and the CIA is the USIA. It's like, this doesn't hit the same. And then they've got this stuff in the lore about Judge being like some MK Ultra CIA super soldier, and I just don't think it works for me. Like, I thought the whole point of this game was supposed to be like, oh, SWAT officers are human too. They're hardly military personnel despite some of the missions we go on in the game, and like how the job takes a mental toll on them. But then the protagonist is some unfeeling, hyper-competent super cop. Ends of the Earth, one of the best missions in the game, it actually has a lot of that subtlety and that realism, despite the fact there's a giant gash in the living room wall, so the AI can do that little shimmy animation that they worked so hard programming, I guess. But a lot of the moments like kind of lost, because it's like, okay, here like you're in this like intimate like setting, you're in this person's house, you're there with like your guys, it's very claustrophobic. It's like, oh my god, you can hear the dad and the brothers are calling out to each other, the mother's like dying, and then it's like TF2 spies up in the attic for some reason. The voice acting's really good. Like, the 911 calls and the briefings are very grim and uncomfortable to listen to. Well, the voice acting's good for the most part. There's still this one civilian with like these really shitty voice cracks.
My hands are up. We need help. Keep your hands.
And the Left Behind's voices are really bad too. It's like they feel like placeholder voices that I've heard since like the alpha, but like they're still in the game. Now the death screams, a lot of games rarely get these right. But Ready or Not, it's like, these are very unsettling with how long and drawn out and painful they are. Like, I can only imagine them in the booth being like, alright, we need you to give me 3 more minutes of like screaming. There's a water bottle on the desk there, I need you to gurgle that. Alright, great, that's a wrap, thanks. Although I feel like Judge could be a bit more authoritative when it comes to yelling orders. Eli's voice is definitely the best, I would say.
Police, you're under arrest! Police, get down on the ground! Get down now! Put your fucking hands up!
At the end of the game, on the last missions, when we finally get some substance where Judge and the FBI agent have a spat. But I wanted the whole game to be like this. Again, like that story, like the story campaign they were talking about with all the characters. I wanted there to be like unique dialogue that builds the characters up and helps every mission be memorable with how everyone reacts to all the stuff they're going through. SWAT 4 had tons of this, like when you're calling out specific pieces of evidence for that map. Whereas in this game, you get to the basement of the Podesta estate and all Judge has to say is, collecting evidence. It just sucks the weight out of like these big reveals that a lot of these maps have. Like sometimes your AI officers will make an offhand, like often generic remark about the situation just being like, ah, this is messed up, but like you can use it for anything. I just wish they were more specialized to the specific map and have Judge chime in too.
This wallpaper hurts my brain.
Talk. Weapons on sight.
Like you find the trafficking map in the dealership and someone makes a mention of like all the paper being shredded and then the drug deal in the garage of the dealership and your guys comment on that. And then you get up to open the door to the office where the informant's been shot and everyone collectively is like, ooh! So we got DLC after the main game. We got Home Invasion and Darkwater, which are both kind of middling. I mean, they're not terrible, but it was more so just like more of what we already have. Home invasion. All the guns we got were lame except for the DDM-4. And the trailer, again, got this little scene where it makes you think you're going to be like talking to civilians and interacting with stuff. Maps are fine. Dorms is whatever.
Come at you. What are you shooting at?
There's a spooky alien on the wall.
So you're shooting it?
Yeah, it's scary. Lawmaker's great. Narcos is great too. The music especially. Although again, I wish there was more unique dialogue and like animations and scripting of like an officer trying to render aid to the informant or something. Dark Water, they had the helicopter. I think that's a great idea. It's like an evolution of the sniper team from SWAT 4. But the scope starts to get weird in terms of like the threats we're dealing with. Like Leviathan, you have these Antifa hippies as the suspects. They're led by the usual washed up 30-something leftover women.
I'm not going in.
Police, get down!
She's very resilient.
Shoot her.
Way.
Kill her.
Do it.
Huh?
Okay.
You won't do it. Okay.
She's a keeper. Yet they have automatic weapons and managed to seize an entire oil rig. Like, how are they well connected and coordinated enough to do this? You're telling me the CIA and the MLO helped them out or something? And three-letter triad, similar to the server farm, when you introduce like private security and friggin' mercenary groups into this supposed like super authentic realistic setting is when you really start to lose me. Like, what mercenary groups even exist in the West? Like, did Blackwater do this? Like, if so, then why are there so many Englishmen working for them? Like, why not just have people be more Left Behind or something? And so after this, that's when we got the console release and the subsequent censorship, although thankfully there's some mods that revert that. Still lame. And then we got another big long stretch of radio silence where everyone's like, what happened? They took all the money and ran? Is that what happened? Nah, son. Boiling Point. Boiling Point seems to be inching us back to that initial vision and kind of innovating and building upon what's there. And there's much more production value and interweaving story at the forefront. Finally got the 9-bang, although I think the flashbang's more effective, but I use the 9 because it's cool. Now it still has some tonal problems though. Like the trailer's to rip off of the family vacation scene from Modern Warfare 3, and it's still as lame and like heavy-handed tragedy porn as it was back then. But that's about it. I like the heaviness of everything else. It just feels very dire. Like you get the riots right outside the police station. You go up to the roof, there's snipers in position. There's a bunch of lore collectibles all over the place. But it also highlights the shortcomings of the hub world that, again, makes me wish that, like, can we get like an actual proper campaign or something? Like there's papers there talking about Judge's MKUltra sleeper agent phrases and whatnot. And you just stand there. The police chief just stands there as you read these documents you really probably shouldn't be looking at. The game is just stuck in a weird spot that a lot of people have voiced their grievances about. Like, it obviously wants to be a SWAT game, but it also has to up the ante in terms of the missions you go on. Like, the bank robbery mission's really cool. Like, people have been asking for a bank robbery mission. You got all this stuff going on outside, like the riots and the police response. You got another team breaching a building across the street. And then you got the rioters in the bank itself. But then, again, you have friggin' mercenary group. They're in the basement. Like, why is LA, like off-brand LA, chosen as the epicenter of all this like paramilitary activity? But I mean, like, you're charging money for these DLCs with only 3 missions. You got to make them in-depth and worth the purchase, right? Even if, like, in the story, like, you probably should have the National Guard dealing with this at this point as opposed to a SWAT team. Now, what I do like is how your fellow officers react to you doing stuff with the evidence. Like, tinker around with the laptop and, like, getting key cards and opening safes and stuff. They're like, the hell are you doing?
Do you have any idea what you're doing? Since when did you become a detective?
If you're gonna go down this route with the MKUltra victim thing with Judge, and like he's this unknown vector, this is the way to do it, where his teammates start to feel like off-put and suspicious of what he does. Now that said, what an incredible level. This and Sins of the Father are probably some of the best missions in the game, harkening back to some of the very heavy and introspective visuals of the initial trailers, showing like the American flag in an almost like occult or like esoteric fashion, like the idea of America as a concept and what that means, like it's a living being or something. I love the MLO. I love this idea of basically fighting your equals. They breach, they throw flashes, they flank, they use their numbers to try and take you out. There's lots of set pieces, there's unique dialogue, there's personal stakes, even if the dialogue can get a little repetitive because of how many times you have to end up restarting the mission. But the MLO, like, they hijack your comms and taunt you. It's just riding the line on like hatred levels of like edgy cringe, but I think I can let it slide just because of, I don't know, they have good vocabulary and the visuals to go along with it.
Counter frequency is up. T-platoon, move now. We have 2 to 3 minutes before our signal gives out. Find and disarm the trigger man and secure the detonator. Repeat, find and disarm the trigger man.
Tom David, join us upstairs in the courtroom for your final test. Better hurry.
And I do like how they try and feed the frustration in a meta way that comes from having to play the game and adhere to the ROE and everything.
Civilian ready for transport. Hands up! Hands up! Down on your knees!
Roger, entry team.
One suspect down.
Great work.
Breathing.
Keep going.
But there's all sorts of stuff to interact with, and the characters actually have stuff to say in relation to it.
Good to go.
Element to top.
Element to top.
To the electrical.
Civilian good to go. Civilian is ready.
Get me the hell out of here.
That elevator is busted. Let's take the stairs.
We'll take the stairs.
And gameplay wise, like the way the AI finds your location is through like these IR laser trip wires that you find throughout the hallways. Although the problem is that once you kind of start to master the level, it becomes very predictable and you can almost exploit it because they're not randomized where they're located. And whenever you set them off, the AI has a tendency to yap, which maybe is for balance reasons, I don't know. But after you play through it enough, you can eventually start using it to your advantage, which that's when you figure it out. But for your first times when you play it and you're getting flanked and everything, it's fantastic. But it'd be great to see the locations of the tripwires randomized and the AI use more tactics against you. This would be like for whatever the next DLC is going to be. Because I don't really know where they're going to go from here, both gameplay and story-wise. Because like in this game, when you beat it, like if depending on which you do, there's like multiple endings and that you actually like get cutscenes. It's like, yes, finally. But like for where the story's going to go after this DLC, I have no clue. It's like, are we going to go beyond the law and start taking out like the corrupt government or something? Gameplay wise, it'd be great to see them just use more tactics and gadgets against you, like using like a grenade launcher or something like that. Like maybe they barricade a hallway and have like a big emplaced armored machine gun that you have to get past. Like maybe you shoot a fire extinguisher to create a smoke screen, or it's like a well-placed grenade or like a rifle shot. I don't know. Maybe you have snipers outside, like either you or the opposing faction. Like you have to stay away from the windows because you might get sniped. But I've always wanted for them to try and make it where they try to like bait you out with hostages or like fake surrender, and like you go to arrest them while one's waiting around the corner ready to shoot you. And so that would incentivize you using the voice commands and making them crawl over to you as opposed to you going to them and potentially getting shot. Or they just lie manipulate you, like trying to make you think that they're a civilian, so like you hear them from around the corner being like, oh, we're in here, help us, and then you turn the corner, there's a guy with a shotgun in your face. But I love the themes and the symbolism of this mission so much. Like, yeah, of course I do. I just made a music video about it. But like, you get to the final confrontation in the courtroom and there's a freaking choir. Like, as an Armored Core and Ace Combat aficionado, more military media needs cool choirs. Like, this is great. There's a lot of renewed faith in this game after playing this DLC. Lots of people are upset because, again, that long stretch of radio silence between Dark Water and the console release and then this. But we have, like, again, just like cinematic story scenes now. More missions like this, please, and soon. Very well done. Now, I want to give an honorable mention before I go. The Shattered Nerve mod. I feel like Void could still learn a lot from this. It has a lot of what the initial trailer had initially promised, not so much in terms of the story, but in terms of the gameplay. You get this bombastic entry sequence with like a scripted set piece. You got like the Call of Duty style like mission info on the screen. It's like really difficult and unpredictable. You have tripwires like outside, not just on doors, and they're not all at like ankle level.
Check it with the mirror.
All right.
No contacts.
Red.
I've been waiting for this.
Keep safe. Element to talk.
You can place tactical ladders and breach windows. It's also connected to the previous vanilla levels. Like the crack house that you raid is right next door, which is I think is super cool to see. And you have two different variants with two very different situations, like how in the beta you could choose your scenarios. I highly recommend downloading it. It's a great mod. So that's Ready or Not's, I guess, redemption arc. I mean, it's always been a great game. It's just that I wish it could go kind of that extra step, you know? Like what they had said with the trailers about the story camp. That's mainly my big thing, is that I just want more like military FPS story campaigns to actually be good. And so that was kind of like the through line that I was trying to find with this. That's part of why this took so long, is I was trying to figure out what the point was going to be. So sorry for the wait, but it's here now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully the E3 demo video won't take nearly as long.